and this one actually out of Dish and T-Mobile. All right, so this is kind of crappy actually. So we know about the ongoing issue and squabble that's going on between Dish and T-Mobile. What this boils down to is Dish has Boost Mobile, and they're operating that company. Customers that are on Boost Mobile still rely on CDMA connectivity on their phones. People that are on Boost Mobile are a wide variety of walks of life. There are people that are, that are low income. They're on a tight budget. There are people that are middle income, right? It's all mixed on Boost Mobile. There are people that are on prepaid because that's the only way they can afford it. There are people that are on prepaid because that's all they want to spend. It's really, really mixed, okay? It's a homogeneous mixture of different types of customers at Boost Mobile. There's a segment of Boost Mobile customers that have probably some outdated phone hardware, some older legacy tech, right? And they're going to need time to transition to different phones. They're going to need time to upgrade. Peter Adderton has done a pretty nice job of highlighting this. I've tried to bring it up a few times on my channel as well to support that cause. People are going to need some additional time to transition. It doesn't matter if you send them a text. It doesn't matter if you send them an email. Oftentimes, when people get prepaid service, they don't give their address. You're not sending letters to their house, right? So contacting them could be a dead end. So they may not know, they may not care, they may not want to upgrade. Even trying to get them a free phone, they're going to say, what's the catch? They're disbelievers. This is the type of thing that you're dealing with a company like Boost with the customer demographic. It's really all over the place. So there are customers that are still going to need to rely on the 3G CDMA side of what the Sprint network used to be. T-Mobile wants to move on from that. T-Mobile wants to decommission the older legacy tech, the 3G technologies from Sprint. What they can do then is they can decommission that. They can move and retune that spectrum for LTE and or 5G, whatever the case is. So it allows them to better serve the future of their network. It's true. 3G's done. There's no new spectrum going to 3G. There hasn't been any new spectrum added to 3G in years. Dare I say like a decade or so, right? They've been taking spectrum away from 3G and putting it towards LTE and even 5G. For example, Verizon. They moved 3G spectrum with the 850 megahertz. They moved it to LTE and then they DSS'd it with 5G. AT&T doing the same thing with band 5 with 850 megahertz. Same thing. They took 5 megahertz and they created an NR channel for 5G. Boost Mobile is going to be subjected to these types of growing pains just like all these other carriers. The problem is those companies that are trying to move on, there's companies that can't move on just yet, and an accelerated decommission is going to put them in a bad situation. Okay, so lawmakers in Colorado. Oh, believe me, Garen, I agree. I just know the realism of the problem. I'd love to get these people transitioned to LTE and 5G, believe me. But I know the problem, Lawmakers in the state of Colorado are urging the DOJ to review the ongoing T-Mobile and Dish issue. So the issue is T-Mobile wants to decommission the old Sprint 3G CDMA stuff. Dish is saying, don't, you can't, we still have people on it. Colorado lawmakers are pushing a re-review of the ongoing CDMA 3G shutdown process of this former legacy Sprint network with Boost Mobile customers. And apparently, it's going to the Antitrust Committee, and they're probably going to review this. I think about the current political situation and climate. Why wouldn't they review this? T-Mobile's not wrong for wanting to move on. If they're holding up their end of the bargain on the merger deal, like if they've done their part according to the time constraints, then they're free to do as what they need to do. But if they're violating the terms of the concessions and the antitrust agreement with the DOJ, then they're going to be in trouble. So I think that's what it's really about, because as of right now, the issues are, is this a competitive concern? People are getting the impression that T-Mobile is trying to bury Dish with Boost Mobile. Is there consumer harm? Are people going to be negatively impacted by a 3G CDMA shutdown? And how many? You know, it's really a scale thing too. Charlie Ergen will tell you that there's millions of customers on Boost that are connected to 3G and CDMA. Eugene, aka Sweaty Armpits, he'll tell you it's like 10% of the customer base or less, which would be like 600,000 or 700,000 or something. I don't know. This is less than 10%. So I have no idea. If indeed this is going to affect millions of Boost customers, the lawmakers are most definitely going to review this, and they're going to have to figure something out. So I think there's just some information we actually have to confirm. You know, what is actually going to be happening here depends on that factor. Some of the details, T-Mobile says it only needs to give Dish a 6-month notice to shut down the 3G CDMA network, which they're saying that they did. According to the contract terms, that's all they had to do was give Dish 6 months, and that was it. And they had that amount of time to get people transitioned to compatible hardware. I know that Sweaty Armpits has said that Dish needs to deal with the phone compatibility issues, and they need to transition customers. You know, do what's right for them. Colorado lawmakers, this is an interesting situation because I don't know if you guys know this, but Dish is a Colorado-based company. So we'll see. I'll be tracking that story more closely. Honestly, I think Dish has something here. I get the impression that Dish could win here. I don't know if it means they're going to get more time. Like it might get pushed back. I know they said that they wanted to decommission the 3G and CDMA, I think January 2022. Maybe it gets pushed back to June 2022. Maybe it gets pushed back to December 2022. I think at the very least, you're going to probably see T-Mobile have to postpone the decom of 3G CDMA. I think that's the most likely outcome. I don't see how lawmakers in Colorado don't push to get at least a 6-month to a year extension on that shutdown. And I think T-Mobile's going to fight it too. They're going to say, hey, you know, we got to do what's best for us. We met our merger, our concession terms and our agreements. I mean, if T-Mobile's holding up their end of the bargain, then they could win. I got to look at the terms. I really do. I mean, I just, because if T-Mobile is holding up their end of the bargain, they're just hitting their requirements, then they could do whatever they want. I'm not mad at them. I don't even like Eugene, but he'd be right. It's his right if he wants to shut down elements of his network to renovate and improve, if that's all the agreement called for.